Hello and welcome. My name is Rowan and today I will be talking about how to give effective feedback based on my practitioner-based research conducted in February and March on my final placement. First, let's have a look what effective feedback actually is. It's where students are able to recognise their strengths, their successes, what they've done well in. It also identifies ways that the students can improve their work in the future. And students will feel capable and motivated to use the feedback to improve their work. So in the future, their work will be continually improving based on the feedback. So feedback is a great way of shaping the expectations of the students. This study looks at the order of the feedback. Does the order of the feedback really matter? Can the order of the feedback influence the student's motivation and self-worth? And can the order of the feedback have a negative impact on a child's learning? So back to the order of the feedback, what that means is, does it matter if you tell the students what they've done well first? Or should you tell them what they need to improve on? This study looks at how does student motivation and mood change through feedback given in different order, and does self-reflecting increase or decrease student motivation? These were the 3 questions asked to students over a 3-week period. This was in a Year 1 class, so the test was teacher administrated with the students selecting either a happy face, a sad face, or a confused face, meaning they don't know how they feel. So first they were told of their success first. So they might have been told, Johnny, I love the way they've told of what they can improve on first. So it'll be, Johnny, I wish you use capital letters in your sentence. And then said, I love the way you use full stops, and I love the way you use spaces in between. Next, they're told of their success first, followed by an area they can improve on. So this was based on the 2 stars and a wish. So it was, I love the way you've started your sentence with a capital letter. I love the way you've used spaces. I wish next time you could use a full stop. Then the last type of feedback was basically exactly the same at the beginning of the 2 stars and a wish. So you told them their success first, but then they had to work out how they can improve their work. So let's have a look at the results. How do I feel when I get told what I need to do or can improve on first? So this is where the students were told what to improve on first. And 16 out of the 22 students felt sad. They weren't receptive. Sorry about that. So they weren't receptive to the positive feedback they received of how they can, of what they've succeeded and done well in, because that was overshadowed by the feelings of failure straight off. So only 3% were happy, and those 3% were the ones, they were fast. I remember the 3 students. 2 of them were fast finishers that just want to know, what do I do? However, that's not representative of a whole class. Next, we looked at the 2 stars and a wish model. And much less students were sad. 4 were sad, 2 were confused, but 17 were happy. That should actually be 16. I've had a little typo in the presentation. So that one was quite effective in promoting feelings of happiness and self-worth. And then thirdly, when they had self-reflected a lot, when I did the study as I was administering the questions to students, I could tell just by looking at the students before they answered that a lot were confused about self-reflecting on their work and what they can do to improve. They thought, I've done my best, that's it. So self-reflecting wasn't as effective as 2 stars and a wish. However, it did have the least amount of students feeling sad, but then those students were feeling confused. So a large number were confused, but that backs up that when the students are told of their success first, they're much more receptive to feedback, and their mood and satisfaction of the task is higher. So analysing the results. When students were told, as we talked about before, when they're told what to improve on first, they seemed to just shut down. They didn't pay attention. They didn't notice that I was telling them that they might have forgot to use a capital, but I love the way you've used full stops. I love how neat your writing is. I love how you've used nice even spaces. So they just weren't receptive to the positive feedback and what they'd done well, and their mood was it was noticeably lower in comparison to when they were told of their success first. The school where this study was done was in a lower socioeconomic, and what I noticed is when I was using the next 2 ones, 2 stars and a wish, and the self-reflection, where they both started with the student success first, what I noticed, which wasn't, yes, the test was administered with a smiley face, but these kids would just light up and get excited, which unfortunately was unable to be measured in the test. You just see them beaming that they've done their work really well, and even during the course of this placement I was there was a notice in the 2 weeks where I focused on doing the student successes first, I could see them really lifting as well. So that's also something that wasn't able to be, I guess, effectively measured in the survey in comparison to being in the classroom. Then with self-reflecting, it did make, yes, they felt positive, but there were a lot of feelings of confusion. So I think it would have been good to just give them the positive feedback and then do a secondary one about self-reflection in the future. But it clearly showed that once you start with the student success first, it does have a direct influence on their mood and motivation in a positive way. Now, the order of the feedback given to students is important. So this has to be planned, that you're going to do it a certain way. The order has a direct correlation to the mood and motivation of the task. It also helps with behaviour management that I noticed when I was using in weeks 4 and 5 of the placement, when I used student successes first. And I was able to scaffold to a higher level of learning as they were more receptive to, with the 2 stars and a wish, to the feedback of how to improve. Self-reflection might not be suitable for this age group. Maybe an upper age group, and a future study I feel would be beneficial on self-reflecting in the different stages of primary age students. Now the recommendations always starts with the student success first. So highlight their strengths, highlights what they've done well. Self-reflecting can cause confusion of what they need to do. So there are times where self-reflecting may be needed, but just be aware that it can cause confusion. And 2 stars and a wish is an effective way of giving feedback. And there are lots of resources online, such as a 2 stars and a wish stamp, which you can get on eBay for about $20 delivered, or buy it from educational stores like EDSCO. So that stamp keeps, I guess, a beginning teacher like me on track of giving that an effective way of giving feedback as well. So thank you for listening to the results of my practitioner-based research on how to give effective feedback and about the order of the feedback. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. Bye.